Good afternoon. This is Carlos Batara on Simplifying and Demystifying Immigration Law, another in our ongoing series. Today we're going to discuss a very relevant topic for most immigrant clients. The topic is, do you need an immigration lawyer? Most clients come to my office and the first question they ask me is, do I need an immigration lawyer? And my response is no and yes. No, because if you can understand the law, if you have the ability and the patience to read through the laws, the contradictions of the laws, the exceptions of the law, the exceptions to the exceptions, you don't need an immigration lawyer. You can do it by yourself. In fact, as the law was originally designed, it was designed so that anyone could technically help themselves. But over the years, law has become very complicated. And immigration law is one of the most complicated. So on the other hand, I tell people, well, maybe you do need an immigration lawyer. If you can't do those things, or if there's some tricky areas, or you may have some problems that arise out of your history, then you're certainly going to need an immigration lawyer at some point in the process. But let's discuss how people come to my office. First, people come in, well, I've heard that I can get a green card if I've lived here 10 years. Well, the truth is, not necessarily. You have to meet other requirements. You have to meet other conditions. There is no such thing as a 10-year rule and you get a green card. It just doesn't happen. Another thing is some people come in and say, well, you know, my nephew, my niece, my husband, my wife has just been picked up by immigration authorities. Is there anything we can do? Should he or she just give up? Should they just sign the papers like the officers are asking them and allow themselves to go back to their home country? I don't think we have a case. A third situation is someone comes to your house and they've been successful in getting their green card or their citizenship papers, and they tell you it's really easy. The forms are really simple. I can help you fill them out. Your daughter can do the papers for you. Your nephew can do the papers for you. Well, they look simple. The answers are simple. You know your name. You know every name you've used. You know your address. You know your telephone number. You know those things. But what you don't know is the significance of how it all ties together. You don't know about how significant it could be when you enter the country, whether you entered with permission, what type of permission, whether you've exceeded that permission, what date you entered, or whether you've re-entered, and how long you were gone. Those are questions that could become very important in your case later. So, if you have those types of questions, you may in fact need an immigration lawyer. But let's talk in more general terms about immigration law. Immigration law, as I've been alluding to here, is complicated. It is difficult. It is unpredictable. As I stand here today, I know of some Supreme Court cases in the last 2 weeks, in the last 6 weeks, that have changed the rules for certain permanent residents. These cases may benefit them greatly, and these changes can come overnight. There could be a court case that changes the rules. There's things that Congress is discussing right now that could change the law. You have to be aware of those changes, because if those changes are coming very soon, then you may want to delay filing those papers if the changes will help you. On the other hand, if the changes are going to hurt you, then you may want to speed up things. Immigration law is complicated, complex, unpredictable. The second reason why you might need an immigration law is it can change your life forever. The difference between winning and losing is the difference between living here and going back to your home country. And if you come from an impoverished region of an impoverished country, well then the difference is that you would be in the United States, your children would have the right to an education here, you would be able to work here legally, you'd be able to live here legally, versus going back to a country that's in the throes of chaos or despair or political disruption. Very important reason why you might want to hire an immigration lawyer. If you feel that your case has some tricky issues, if you feel your case has some difficult issues. Think about the difference between winning or losing. You may decide, you know what, if I lose, it's going to change my life dramatically. If I win, it's going to change my life dramatically. It's all or nothing. In that situation, you may want to hire an immigration attorney. The third is that, look, immigration law is about more than just the law. It's about advocacy and commitment. When you look for an immigration lawyer, look for one that really cares about immigrants. Look for an immigration lawyer that really cares about challenging laws that's unfair. Look for a lawyer that's not afraid to stand up to immigration judges, that's not afraid to take cases to higher court when he feels that the whole system has not been fair to you, or if a judge has made a mistake. There are lawyers, just like there's doctors, just like there's accountants, and then there are lawyers and doctors and accountants. There are some that put everything they have into it, their heart and soul. And there are some that, well, don't put that much into it. And then there are some that are really bad guys. Very few on a percentage basis, but there are those. And there's no way to really tell until you go about talking to attorneys, interviewing attorneys. But if you decide to hire an attorney, hire one that cares about more than just being a lawyer. They care about immigrants. They care about justice. They care about fairness. Anyway, I thank you for spending these few minutes with me, and I hope to see you again at our next session.